Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is that you are listening, folks. Thank you very, very much for listening. Today is the 7th of July, in the year of our Lord, 2025. Welcome to yet another edition of the Coping Hour, hosted by Nicholas Engel, aka Motonoa. 7-7. Terrorist attack in the 7-7 bombers. London? Let's do a quick history lesson up at the top of the show. I said, as soon as I said July 7th, did I say January 7th? July 7th. Let's do a brief brush up on the 7-7 bombers. It was London, 2005. I actually, 20-year anniversary of the 7-7 bombers. I say that like it's a... wow, can you believe it's already been 20 years? No. So a brief Wikipedia here. The 7-7 bombings were a series of four coordinated suicide attacks carried out by Islamic terrorists that targeted commuters traveling on London's public transport during the morning rush hour. Wow, this is a pretty wide range. It happened over the course of an hour. 56 deaths, including the 4 bombers, 784 injured. Wow, they made... here's what I do know about it. They were like homemade bombs. I don't really know, I guess, what the other type would be. I mean, people make bombs, like a sort of... I don't want to say professionally manufactured bombs. I would argue the people who are making homemade bombs are actually professionals at making bombs. The 7-7 bombers. Is it like a hashtag never forget thing for them? Like, is there like a... there's not really a ground zero because it was sort of all over... 4 different locations in London, so I guess there can't really be a ground zero. But like, it's also, I guess, maybe interesting. You think about when I think about London, and the tubes that they use. They're like what our adjacent in America would be is like a subway, right? It's not. It's like knife crime is kind of what the whole thing is in England. Like, are you anti-knife crime? I guess I am. I'm sort of just opposed to. Well, how opposed are you really to criminality just as sort of an objective? It's like an abstract concept, like how averse are you to crime just as like a, well, again, just as an abstraction. Well, I guess that's too broad. Not really, just totally against it. Not really. I mean, I think stealing out of necessity, it happens. I mean, that's why, like today we were at Target and we needed a baby formula and the formula's locked up. And so you got to call over, an associate, a sales associate who's making like $10 an hour and be like, can you unlock this thing for me so that my baby can eat? Well, the reason that they have to lock it up is because motherfuckers be stealing baby formula. Why do you think they do that? Because it costs $50. And also because, just that, because it's really expensive and people just kind of need to, I don't know if maybe people have caught up wind of this, but people do need to nourish their children. And sometimes it's the means in which you have to do that. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. It's like the age-old ethics question of like, would you steal a loaf of bread if it meant that you had to feed your family? Well, in this instance, it is very much that. Only the adults are not drinking the formula. I don't know. Maybe some people are really down bad. I guess maybe the nutrients for an adult, I don't imagine would be. I don't think they would be. I guess here's where I sort of draw the line. It's like, can motherfuckers stop stealing deodorant? Because when you live in a major city and you're literally just trying to get like a stick of Old Spice, and I have to call somebody over for that seems a little bit ridiculous. It's Old Spice. How much do you think that costs to manufacture? I don't know what is in deodorant. Like what chemicals are in, what minerals are in deodorant that it costs. How much is a stick of deodorant? $5? $7? $7 seems like it would be a lot. This is one of those, it really is sort of just one of those items that you just kind of grab and you're not really thinking, like, if you're pinching pennies, you're not going to be like, I need a stick of deodorant. I guess maybe you're going to a job interview or something like that, right? But like, otherwise I don't know. I'll put a hand up. I don't know how much a stick of deodorant costs right now because you kind of just buy it and that's just kind of what it is. It's like I give some pushback on people when they're like, oh, you don't even know how much a gallon of milk costs. Yeah, again, it's just kind of one of those things that you need to buy, and so you're not really thinking about you're not really, milk isn't really one of those things, like especially if like your morning rituals, like you eat cereal every day, like you're not, I don't know, maybe I just don't think that's something that you're that conscious of. It's just a necessity and you're probably going to buy it either way. Like the difference between it being the $2.37 for a gallon of milk, which seems a little low, versus like $5. Like if you're really there to get some milk, you're probably going to get some milk anyways. And if you are pinching pennies to that degree, I don't know, maybe I'm being naive here or something, but I would, sure, let's do a soft power ranking. So we have a list of things that, this is where we got from the 7-7 bombings, a list of things that you're not that conscious of the price because you're just kind of going to buy it no matter what. We have milk and we have a stick of deodorant. Maybe this is an easy one, but if I'm in like a checkout aisle and you're just like looking at all the candy and you know what I mean? Like I'm not really thinking like, how much does this Twix cost? Oh, it was $1.50 a week ago. What do you mean it's $4 now? I mean, I'm probably just going to buy it anyways, because at that point I'm so dialed in on the idea of having a little treat on my way home that I'm probably just going to get it anyways. Although I will say, I guess I say $4. If a Twix costs $4 and I'm not in like an airport or something like that, maybe like a sporting event. Although if I'm going to a sporting event and I'm buying a Twix, I might as well just fucking go home and stop at 7-Eleven on the way home. Fucking dork. Get a Twix at a like I'll get a Twix if it's in like a shake or something like that, right? If it comes in like this really extravagant dessert. You spend $15 on like an ice cream cone at a ball game because that's just kind of like what it costs. That's just kind of like what you're expecting to pay when you're there. So happy anniversary of the 7-7 bombings. Never forget that was fucked up and that was wrong. What happened 20 years ago on that fateful day in London. And I think maybe this is a good time to mention to everybody at home that I don't know what I'm going to title this episode, but it's definitely going to be an episode for me. This is definitely going to be an episode where we don't talk about anything that's going on in the world. We don't talk about anything that's real. It's the off season in the NBA, and at the end of the day, this like is mostly an NBA podcast. Unless it's football season, then it's an NFL podcast. But even then, that's sort of like a blanket, and the real comforter is the NBA. So like the off season really is where you separate the men from the boys, and the girls from the women from the girls. And the themsters from the boys and the girls. And so I don't use the timestamps to your advantage. Really just figure out like what's interesting that you want to hear about today. And I guess maybe here's something up top. So an important note beforehand, I made dinner for my family tonight. And while I was making dinner, had 2 glasses of wine polished off the bottle. Abbott Soul, I think is what the bottle was called. It's very good. Red wine. I really, really liked it. I had some last night and then I finished the bottle today. I had 2 glasses of that. And then once I made dinner, I've had a couple beers. So I'm really feeling it right now. It's late at night. I'm going to be up really late. So at this point, I'm just kind of full send. Like, let's just get weird and let's get wild in this episode. And the first thing that I want to talk about actually is something that happened to me today while I was watching the Tigers game, not a baseball segment. While I was watching the Tigers and the Indians playing earlier today, Scooble was on the bump, by the way. I learned something. I've been gaslit my entire life. And that's a really hard thing to reconcile with, that you've been lied to for your entire life. So Nick, what were you lied to about? You know, you go your whole life and you hear this anecdote about these guys who were like, how do we kill a bunch of Trojans? Oh, we make a big horse and we hide inside of the horse. And then the Trojans are like, hell yes, a big horse. This is awesome. I don't know whose gesture this was, but what an unbelievably kind gesture. We were just talking in the fighting pits the other day about like, what if we had a big ass wooden horse? And now we do. Wow. Impressed. And then when they all went to sleep, the guys jumped out of the horse and killed all of the Trojans. That didn't happen. That didn't happen in real life. That was mythology. It's fiction. We made it up. That didn't happen. Now, this came up because there's a new commercial that's out right now where I don't know, you have a bunch of guys and they're hanging out in a wooden horse and they're all like, tee-hee-hee, like, can't wait to jump out and kill a bunch of Trojans when they're sleeping. But the Trojans are using AI like TSA style to x-ray the wooden horse, and they find out that there's a bunch of people in it, and they're like, see, AI can make your working life better, and they kick out the wooden horse, and so nobody gets their throat slit when they're sleeping. And I watched that commercial, and I was like, man, I haven't really thought about the Trojan horse thing in a while. I was like, hey, we're in the middle of a commercial right now, and I'm waiting for Scooble to get back on the bump. I was like, why don't I do a quick brush up on history? And, like, logistically, like, how did they actually do that? Because that's a really interesting story. Come to find out, it didn't. It didn't. They didn't. None of it happened. That didn't fucking happen. The Trojan horse thing is bullshit. It's not real. So I start texting around, and I'm like, hey, have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Trojan horse? Not real. I'm texting everybody that I know, right? And every single person that I texted was like, yeah, dog. Yeah, that's mythology, and yep, that's like 11th grade literature. We found out that the whole Trojan War didn't happen. The Odyssey, ever heard of it? That didn't fucking happen. Well, I knew that part. I just assumed that the wooden horse thing did. Why would we be lied to about that? Oh, okay. And so then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wait, so the way that I build it, right, is like wow, these guys just build a wooden horse, and all these guys are like, wow, a big wooden horse, like, this is cool, what a nice gesture. When I said it out loud like that, I typed it out, and I'm like, this sounds like a Monty Python bit. How did I not catch on to this? I'm 27. I've gone my whole life thinking that this was a real thing that happened, and it didn't. It's fiction. So then the gears starts. I feel like a dumbass, right? And so the gears start spinning, and I'm like, wait, so what else didn't happen? It's like, what other stuff like didn't happen? I'm losing my mind. I haven't Googled any of it, right? But I'm just like thinking of like historical events that happened, millennia ago. And for some reason, the first thing that came to mind was Martin Luther when he posted like his thesis of like 95 things that he hated about the church. He walks up to the door, he nails this really long and fabulous list, being like, I hate the way that you walk, and I hate the way that you talk, and I hate the way that you dress, Catholic Church. It had to have been the Catholics. I don't know that off the top of my head, but it was Europe like 300 years ago, so it's probably Catholics, right? Or something Catholic adjacent. I hate the way that you guys dress. A really cool like dress, clergymen, fucking losers. I was like, wow, maybe that didn't happen. I'm going down the list of all these historical events that, I don't know, that may or may not have happened. We talk about 7-7. No, don't do a 7-7 thing. That's not cool. Although I will say this, bro. You want to get sick and twisted and nasty and like wild? I was watching the interview that Tucker Carlson did with Robert O'Neill. Came out like within the last week. And Robert O'Neill, for those of you maybe out there who don't know, was the one member of the SEAL Team 6 that was credited with getting shots on Osama bin Laden, and he was the one that killed him. He put 3 rounds into his head, right? 2 when he was still standing and 1 while he was on the ground. And I've always been really skeptical of his story. I've always been really confused about it. I remember very, very vividly the night that Osama bin Laden was killed. I was like 13 years old. And I remember Obama coming out and being like, let me be clear. We just conducted an operation. He's not Southern, but he's like, straight up, we just killed Osama bin Laden. What's up, world? Y'all didn't do that. We did. USA. Caw-caw. Sweet guitar riff. That was us. What's up? We killed bin Laden. It finally happened. 10 years after 9/11, bin Laden is dead. I remember waking up the next day. I've told the story before. I woke up the next day. I go to espn.go.com, eating my morning breakfast before school. And the Phillies and Mets game from the night before was happening on Sunday Night Baseball. The news broke in the middle of the game. People start doing USA chants in the middle of the game because that news circulated quick. It was the biggest news in the world. The number 1 terrorist in the world was killed. It happened in Pakistan, in Abbottabad. Abbottabad. Yeah, I think I got it right. Abbottabad. It's preferred nomenclature. Abbottabad. In his compound, Osama bin Laden dead. I remember so vividly us being told the identities of these SEALs will never be revealed. And like 2 years later, this motherfucker Robert O'Neill is on Oprah being like, I straight up killed his ass. That was me. What's up? That's me. Now, in retrospect, I can look at it and be like, well, he was retired from service, and so maybe that has something to do with it. And the reason why some of the other SEALs, we don't know their names, is because they are still active duty, right? That could be true. That could be 100% true, and maybe that's all that it is, right? But the reason that I brought up this Tucker Carlson interview, I'm not a body language expert. I watch a lot of body language experts' content on YouTube. There's one guy specifically who does a really, really good job. But like, okay, if I'm telling you a story, right? I'm sitting in front of you, or you're watching me do the show, like right now. If I'm telling a story and I start doing this, right? I start touching my face. Touching your face in the middle of like answering a question is one of like it's on the Mount Rushmore of signs that you're fucking lying. Maybe not like across the board, but you're being deceptive in some way. What I thought was weird about this interview, bro, go look at it for yourself. Be the judge for yourself. Tucker Carlson, Robert O'Neill, again, came out within the last week. And use the timestamps to your advantage of that and just go to the part where they're talking about the bin Laden operation, right? I don't know if I've ever seen a guy be more articulate and like remember very vivid details of like the when this operation was like first a thing, and then like when they're getting on these helicopters, and then like two shooting bin Laden in the fucking face. He's got everything down to like the smell and the touch, right? Unless Tucker Carlson asked him a question, and he wasn't asking him like these super like, he wasn't probing that hard. He was asking shit like, what was bin Laden's house like? What was he wearing? What's going on? Shit like that. Every time that Robert O'Neill would answer the question, he would immediately touch his face and then answer the question. Or like while he was answering the question, he would immediately touch his face. Something about the behavior seemed a little bit deceptive to me. I wasn't really sure. Now, we've softly conspired on the show in the past that they didn't actually kill Osama bin Laden, and that this unceremonious burial at sea that they did for him. Now, the way that it was packaged at the time was because they didn't want to bury him like somewhere in the ground, because then that grave could become like a what's the word I'm looking for? Well, first of all, they didn't want it to be desecrated, but second of all, not like a religious site or like a holy site, but or like not like a martyr site. I don't know what the phrase I'm trying to look for here is, but you kind of get what I'm saying. And so okay, so they just dumped him in the ocean, and like that was kind of it. They just like rolled him off of an aircraft carrier. What the fuck? That guy seems like he would be a pretty valuable asset to, like, I don't know, the Central Intelligence Agency, or like the Mossad, or fucking MI6 or something. I don't know. Or like world global intelligence. I don't know. I just so like I don't really believe that that's true, but this guy does not make. I'm not like disputing that he's had like real life combat experience and that he has seen some horrific shit. But there's something about it that I just am like, is this the guy that's been like the public face of this operation, so that there aren't any questions about it? And I don't really believe that. Saying that out loud sounds fucking insane. But I only say that, and the other reason that I'm like kind of getting more entrenched and like something weird happened that night is because, dog, I got recommended a video on YouTube like 2 weeks ago. It was a guy who went to Pakistan and he was like interviewing bin Laden's neighbors. That was the whole premise of the video. And I was like, first of all, incredible bit to go to travel, 5,000 miles all the way from America to Pakistan just to ask bin Laden's neighbors, like TikTok style, gay son or thought daughter. And they look at you like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, but he's asking all of these, he's probing, right? He's asking all these very like authentic questions. And I don't know, the impression that you're kind of left with was like half of the people there were like, yeah, bin Laden was never here. Like the night that the Americans landed their helicopters, bin Laden wasn't here. And that's a whole different thing, by the way. Robert O'Neill kind of like dropped some information in that interview I've never heard before. I like to think that as far as that operation, that raid in Pakistan is concerned, I like to think that I've kind of done my due diligence over the last like 14 years as somebody who like, that's like one of the most major historical events that I've ever lived through was like bin Laden getting killed. So I never saw Zero Dark 30 because I'm not a fucking loser, but like I really think that I have a good like pulse on all of the different information that we've heard that night. I've never heard this before. Robert O'Neill very softly alluded to the fact, or like pretty directly alluded to the fact, that the helicopters that they flew in on weren't like like normal helicopters. Like he kind of was like hinting at the fact that they were like of a certain technology that is not possessed by any world governments publicly. I don't know how to describe it. It's been a couple days since I've listened to it, but again, if you go back and listen to it, you will hear him talk about these helicopters and how like they were really quiet and they were really smooth and like they were stealth helicopters, right? And so it does make you kind of think a little bit like, oh, that explains to some extent why one of them crashed, because if they went into this operation, 2 days beforehand, they didn't really know what they were going to be doing or like what the actual mission was. You're training these pilots like in a really, really in a short window, and then I don't know. One of the technical explanation of like why one of them crashed was the guy actually crashed it on purpose, because if he crashed it a different way, everybody would have died, but he like did a good crash so that people could live. And there was something about like an updraft or something. I don't know. It was such a massive information dump, but I don't trust him. I don't believe him. I don't think I do. Because it's the same guy, Robert O'Neill, that was on Twitter like within the last 3 months saying that he was going to kill someone and then have sex with their unconscious body. And then we found out that the kid that he said that to was like 16 years old. Whoops. Whoops-a-daisies. That's the guy that killed Osama bin Laden. Whoops. Record scratch, freeze frame. You're probably wondering how this guy got here. He killed Osama bin Laden, and now he's talking on the internet about how he's going to kill a kid and then do unspeakable things to their body. I don't want to do like a caca sick guitar riff. That shit's not American, bro. What the fuck is that all about? I don't know. What else is it? What are some other historical events that I'm not so sure of? That guy really got nailed to a cross? Did he? Nope. No. I'm not going to start this show by being like, I had a lot of alcohol before I started the show. And then 20 minutes into the show, I'm like, I'm going to do a whole takedown of organized religion. That's not funny. This isn't funny. I should move on to something else. But what I do actually want to do today is get through the backlog of emails that we have, because there are like 5 that I want to read today. So why don't we just jump right into that? copinghoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically, email available in the description, wherever it is that you listen to this program. Let's start with this one from Gabriel. Gabriel, potentially welcome back to the show. Subject line, 900 pages of Big Beautiful Bill or LeBron 1v1 for your next meal. A very special howdy to Nicholas Copinghour. What is this? To Nicholas? My last name is an hour. You said Nicholas and then in quotes Coping and then Hour. My name isn't Nicholas Hour. So is this like Nicholas? Whatever, bro. Let's just read that. Let's just read the email. Second time email, long time viewer / listener. I'd like to preface this with 2 things. Yes, I do partake in the act of marijuana. No, I am not currently partaking. Okay, so real talk. Would you rather read all of the 900 plus pages of Trump's Big Beautiful Bill to completion, or play LeBron James one-on-one, and then in parentheses you said, yes, he's trying, until you score a point in order to eat your next meal? Here are the rules. Now, you included a lot of rules here. Some of them are kind of reductive, and you're just kind of saying the same thing over and over again, so I'm just going to read a few of them. You may pause either action at any time, but you may not eat in the meantime, which makes sense. Number 2, you can quench your thirst with water or replenish your electrolytes and rehydrate with some tasty Gatorade. Not an ad, by the way, if you so choose. I would choose vitamin water. We drink vitamin water like it's fucking water in this house. That's kind of all that we drink. It's like vitamin water, Shirley Temples, and Miller Lite. That's really what we drink in this house. I can sleep. That's another rule. With the Big Beautiful Bill, you may not use any text reading software or AI assistance of any kind. The format will be printed. I think that's a good rule, by the way. That's an important distinction, because if you could listen to it like an audiobook, then you can do it passively, right? You can do other things. But if you have to just read it, like, no, that's what you're doing. That's an important rule. And then we'll end on this one. Against LeBron, you may abide by NBA rules and regulations. It's half court, make it, take it. Rebounds are allowed. injuring LeBron intentionally is prohibited. Now, this is, I think, a good place to end it. Because I don't think, this is an interesting mental exercise in and of itself. Like, I don't think the average person could hurt LeBron intentionally. I don't think they could. Like, what am I going to do to LeBron on a basketball court that is actually going to fuck with him? Like, you can say, oh, well, when he goes to the cup, like, just hack him. What do you want me to sit like a step outside of the circle and like pretend that I'm going to take a charge, but I actually just hug him? Like, whatever you think you're going to do to LeBron, you're going to bounce off of him. Like, that's not going to, the guy's body fat percentage is 0.5. Like, it's not going to happen. I don't think a person could do, even to step on his foot and like hope that he rolls his ankle. That might be your best chance, but I just think like the inertia that he's going to generate, again, you're just going to fly off of him. I don't think, even if I really wanted to and I was committed to hurting LeBron James, anything short of like pulling a lead pipe out of my sock and hitting him in the fucking knee with it, I just don't think you can. So this is a perfect question, and I think in a lot of ways, like, A, is great off-season content. B, like, is kind of the essence of the show. This is one of the best emails that anybody has ever sent in, point blank period, right? Because it combines both things that we like to talk about on this show, right? The truth is, if like my next meal was on the line, the question then boils down to, do you think it would take you longer to read 900 plus pages of Trump's big, beautiful bill? Do you think that would take you longer than it would to score on LeBron once, if he's actually trying? I think I could read 900 pages first. Because if he's actually trying, like, it's not even a matter of, he's got like nearly a foot on me. He's got 10 inches on me. So it's not even like a, make it, take it. How the fuck am I going to get the ball? Rebounds are allowed and he doesn't have to like take it back. Like he's just, when the question then becomes like, when do you see the ball? If LeBron starts the game, the 1v1, and he has the ball, I think that has to be the caveat, right? It's like, listen, the only thing I can control in this environment is that I get the ball first. LeBron's not going to care about that, right? Because if he's actually trying, you're not going to, I don't care. Some of you out there listening to this, even if it's just one of you, will trick yourself into thinking like, oh, well, I played in high school and I did whatever. I played D3. I went to fucking Schoolcraft. Shut up. Even if you started with the ball, you're not getting the shot off if LeBron is actually trying. I think I would read 900 pages of Trump's big, beautiful bill before I even saw the ball in this 1v1. Does he score? Let's do 2s and 3s, right? It doesn't really matter because the objective isn't to win. It's just to score once, right? Let me just make that really clear. Until you score a point. Right, okay. So it doesn't really matter 2s and 3s, but for the sake of it, right, if it's 2s and 3s, LeBron might score 900 points before you score once, and how long is that going to take? I think it has to be the bill, right? It's such a great prompt, but I just think it has to be the bill. I don't think it's particularly close. So really, truly a great email, but unfortunately it is kind of one of those ones that once you think critically about it for like 2 seconds, you're kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm probably just gonna read the bill. We have gotten a lot of emails actually about the big, beautiful bill. People getting their thoughts out, their emotions out, which is what the email is for, right? copinghoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically. Email available in the description wherever it is you listen to this program. A lot of people rightfully up in arms about the big, beautiful bill. A handful of you guys have asked me to maybe give a comment or two about it. The only big, beautiful bill that I recognize in the United States of America is a diehard Celtics fan. He lives in Los Angeles. He is sponsored by Michelob Ultra and margaritas that he makes with his wife's friend. That's Bill Simmons. It's the only big, beautiful bill that I recognize. I don't know. I mean, what's really the commentary to have? The United States hit the jackpot post-World War II, and then we spent like 40 years helping rebuild Europe, and then 2 generations later, it's gone. That stinks. I think it's funny that 70 million people got tricked into voting against their own self-interest. I do find that funny. I think it's funny, even though it negatively impacts the entire country. I think people got tricked, and I think a lot of people maybe are figuring that out now. And so when these backwoods places in, Nebraska or even in like northern Michigan or, wherever it is in the country, that leaned towards Trump, when their hospitals close because of this, and the nearest one isn't for 75 miles and, people die as a result of that, maybe they'll, it's a pretty shitty thing of me to do to like hit the L on them and be like, you kind of reap what you sow. But again, I think when half of the country, when like 70 million other registered voters were saying, hey, Project 2025 isn't like a thing that just kind of like got thrown out there, like it is an actual playbook. And then when that playbook is actually followed through on, you're just kind of left you're just like surprised Pikachu, right? Like Joe Rogan, I think, is a funny example of this right now. Like a guy who's like real life for and a year ago, he puts out a podcast with Elon Musk, and at the end of the tweet that he was using to promote the podcast, he's like, Elon gives the most concise and most convincing case to vote for Donald Trump. And by the way, yes, this is an endorsement. And then the recent history of Rogan is him talking about ICE agents targeting people who shouldn't be targeted. I mean, none of these people should be targeted, but that's also just a me thing. Like, I don't really care that people are here illegally. It just doesn't really bother me. But I understand maybe logistically. I don't really want to do this right now. But now Joe Rogan is kind of 180ing, and he's like, oh, well, I didn't know Trump was going to do all this. Really? You didn't know Trump was going to do all this? This is the part where I just don't understand like how people get tricked by it. But Alligator Alcatraz looks fucking sick. Looks awesome. Excited to see how many fuckers that we can cram into there. How many of them do you think are going to be actual U.S. citizens? 10%? 20%? You want to go a third of them are going to be American citizens? I don't know if it'll be that many. Who knows what's going to happen with Alligator Alcatraz? I thought that shit was a joke. I really did. It kind of just got built under everybody's noses, and I was just very confused. I thought it was sort of like a bit like how there's Alligator Alley in Florida, right? That's like a big thing. I've been on Alligator Alley before. It's cool. It's like, whoa, look at all these alligators just on the side of the road. It's really cool. I thought it was like a goof. And then I saw the pictures of it, and I was like, did he build a concentration camp in the United States? Whoa. Whoa, this is too on the nose. You can do your Guantanamo Bay thing where, like, you purchase a territory, but, like, not really buy it. You just kind of, like, set up shop, and you're like, hey, we're going to build, like, a mass detention center here, but it's out of U.S. jurisdiction. Like, it's technically not ours, but, like, it's ours, and we control the land. Whatever, you do that, and you just like waterboard a bunch of like 9/11 guys. I mean, and then also people who shouldn't have been there, but you know what I mean? Like, I mean, okay, that's just sort of like par for the course for the United States government. But as soon as you start doing that shit on U.S. soil, I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, could you imagine if, well, I was going to say, could you imagine if this happened? This is exactly what I'm describing is like, if the Japanese internment camps that we had in the United States during World War II happened in present day, like how would that be covered? We're kind of watching it right now, like how that would be covered. We just haven't seen in this instance, it'll just be people from like Central and South America, I guess, and then potentially, and who knows? We don't know yet. I don't know who's going to be sent in there. Like, how's that going to be covered? Because like, I don't know, when was World War II? 80 years ago, and it ended 80 years ago this year, right? Basically after Pearl Harbor, it was like, you're Japanese, you're going to prison. That's it. Sorry, get ready to learn prison, buddy, because you're fucking going to jail. Sorry that you're Japanese and living in the United States. I don't know. That's kind of all that I have on it. I don't really have like this really noble spiel on like the big beautiful bill. I feel a little bit bad about that, but also I'm literally just a fucking guy, so I don't know. Let's do another one though. This one comes into us from Andy. Andy, welcome back to the show. Andy, aren't you the one that lied about never having emailed into the show when you definitely have before, and then it was a weird thing to lie about? Maybe that wasn't you. Maybe it's a false memory, Kendall Roy style. It's a false memory. I false memoried it. I didn't kill that kid. That wasn't me. I had a beer and a toke. I wasn't even in the car. Truly one of the best moments in the history of Succession is that entire sequence in the series finale. It's false memory. I false memoried it. Did you kill the kid or not? I did not. I did not kill a kid. Oh my fucking God, it's so good. Subject line. Does life get better than this? Hey, Nick, this weekend might have been the best of my life. I have spent my time at the NASCAR races in Chicago, attending my first NASCAR race as a lifelong fan, and I couldn't have asked for a better experience. On Saturday, I got to meet several drivers, watch a great race, and on the train ride back home to Milwaukee, sat next to a pretty woman and talked with her the entire time. First date is on Wednesday. Whoa! 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 Let's stop the email right there. Whoa! That's awesome. That's so cool. It's just so exciting for you. I don't know. That's so Disney of you. That's so rom-com of you. That's so quirky and cool. I love that. You like you come down to Chicago. I don't know, Milwaukee to Chicago. I've taken that train before. What is it, like a 90-minute train? It's not bad. I mean, if everything goes smoothly, it's a really easy train ride. You just go straight. Like it's not very scenic. The Wisconsin route, it's not very scenic. You just see a lot of fields and cows and shit like that. But happy cows come from Wisconsin pastures or whatever, however the fucking expression goes. Guys love their cheese up there. But and while you're doing that, you have this awesome Saturday, and then you get on the train at Union Station, which is a great train station. And then you're sat next to a honey. First of all, good for you. I'm saying this so genuinely. Good for you for not being scared of the hose. And unless she made the first move, I guess in this instance. Maddie and I think we've talked about that recently, where if we had met now, the ball would have still been in her court the way that it was 11 years ago. I wouldn't have said anything to her. I would have been way too scared. I'm not saying anything to you. You're way out of my league. What am I supposed to say to you? So good for you. However that interaction started, good for you for just like being a good soldier and being like, no, I deserve happiness. And if you were attracted to this woman, good for you for being like, I would like to make something cool happen out of this. And I hope your date rocks. Get her, you know what you should do? You should, get her a Dirty Shirley. See how she feels about that. And then maybe you guys can bond over although you're in Milwaukee, so you're going to drink some Millers, which is sick. That's great. That's great. Ooh, there's got to be something. Wisconsin women, they probably don't drink liquor. They probably just drink. We did this recently. It's Miller Lite, and I don't remember what the other one is that's in Wisconsin, but it's I don't remember what it is, but it's like one of the cheap good beers, like one of the shitty light beers that everybody likes. And it's just, I don't remember what it is though. So okay, so whatever you guys drink. Although if you drink too many beers, then she's gonna get bloated, or you both probably will, and then I don't know how you expect the first date to go. I don't know. I'm so disillusioned by dates. I don't know. What's the etiquette on a first date these days? Are you expecting, like, first date just seems so soon. Just depends, I guess, really on how you view sex. And I don't want to say like how meaningless it is to you, but like if it can just be sex, then I guess you can. I don't know. You're just, you know what, bro? I'm not trying to put shit in your head. I'm not trying to you should just be excited that you're going on this date with a woman that you just kind of met like happenstance. I'm not trying to be like, are you gonna have sex with her? I'm not trying to do that. I'm sorry. I was just kind of on my own train of thought, and it's sort of it's not really tangentially related to what your email is actually about. So speaking of your email, why don't we just get back to it? Train ride home back to Milwaukee, date on Wednesday. Today, I got to meet my personal GOAT, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and I will be framing the picture. Derek Rose told the drivers to start their engine. A crash happened right in front of me, and the race avoided the rain that hit Chicago. After the race, I ran into a guy that was looking to get his souvenir helmet signed by drivers. He ended up getting his helmet signed by the race winner, Shane Van Gisbergen. Gisbergen. Really, is he German or Austrian? Shane Van Gisbergen. Very aggressive last name. At least I have like Henkel. It's a German last name, but it's not like Hitler aggressive. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to say this guy's Hitler. I'm just saying you hear German names and you sort of have to say them in like a very aggressive way. This is a very aggressive last name. Maybe he's not even from that part of the world. Anyways, back to the email. And the group of us around this guy were all incredibly hyped for him. He handed the group 2 joints, and we sparked up with him before he got interviewed by some media members. And then you included some photos. He did take a picture with Dale Earnhardt Jr. is sick. I showed it to my girlfriend. I was like, holy shit, this guy actually took a picture of Dale Earnhardt Jr. It's a sweet picture. Now, the nature of the show is you guys send me pictures, and I never include them in the show just because, I don't know, protecting identities just matters to me. The internet's a weird place. This is a picture with Dale Earnhardt Jr., and, like, he's wearing sunglasses, so unless you, like, it doesn't matter. That's Dale Jr. That's so cool. And then he also attached a picture of the guy who wanted to get the helmet signed. You ended the email by asking, does life get better than this? Were you affected in any way by the NASCAR weekend in Chicago? I was. It took the mother of my child infinitely longer to get home because we live on the south side and she works on the north side. And so whether she's taking like 94 or she's taking like LSD or something, Lakeshore Drive, yeah. I mean, infinitely longer. If it's usually like a 20 to 30 minute drive, it's like 45 to an hour. Sucked. Was not fun at all. There's also a big thing going on this weekend. A lot of counterterrorism vehicles in Chicago the last like 3 weeks. And so that presence has been really big. I think it was just heightened because of the NASCAR event. It did fuck with my life, actually, because not me like person like directly because I don't like leave the house with my son that often, and if I do, it's just like in the like immediate outside where we're not really going anywhere, right? So I'm in a car like once a month. Like I don't really go that many places at all. Does life get better than you being a huge NASCAR fan and getting to go to your first NASCAR race and meeting a very nice woman on a train? Again, rom-com style, like this woman is Sarah Jessica Parker and you're Chris Noth and you're literally Mr. Big. This guy's literally Mr. Big right now. Although I am on, I finally finished Sex and the City and I watched both movies and now I'm on And Just Like That. I guess you maybe don't want to be big if you've seen And Just Like That. But does it get better than this? I don't know. Not for you, I don't think. What else do you like? Because it sounds like all of the things that you like happened this weekend. You like NASCAR. You got to see a really cool race. The weather, played nice, and it didn't impede your ability to enjoy your first race. Your personal GOAT, Dale Jr., dog, you met him. You took a picture with him. I don't know how quick that interaction was for you, even if it was 30 seconds. Like, you're going to remember that 30 seconds for the rest of your life. Did you get to shake his hand? Like, things like that, right? Like, you'll remember the feeling of his hand or, like, his jacket or, like, whatever it is. Like, you'll remember that for the rest of your life, and you have that picture to immortalize that moment. That's your GOAT, dog. You did both of those things, and you're into women? Well, guess what? You met a really nice woman on a train in, like, the most, like, meet-cute way possible. On your way back to Milwaukee, you probably got hammered. And by the way, a random stranger let you smoke his weed. In Chicago, maybe that's not that uncommon because people certainly do be smoking. They do be smoking. There's a little joke in there somewhere. Oh, they do be smoking weed. They do be smoking weed. They do. People don't really share weed that much. I think the drug that surely there's been some commentary on this before, but it's strange. I guess this is, so the take that I'm trying to get here, I'm sort of making two different points. This is kind of like just how it works. Like, why don't I just fucking say it? Coke is kind of the one that people just kind of like share, which is weird because it's kind of the one that you think that people would not share because it's so expensive. But just some people don't just want to be doing it by themselves. So, like, especially in like movies and TV, you like barge into a bathroom and someone's like doing blow and they're like, "Oh, you want some?" It's like, that's not really like how a normal person would react to someone walking in on them doing coke. But it's like, well, you also just did cocaine, so you're sort of, it's a lot of stimulation happening in that moment. You're like, yeah, you fucking want to do some? I don't know. If I'm smoking weed, like, I'm not gonna tell a stranger that they can have some of it. Fuck you. Go get your own. This shit's legal here, bro. Like, get like, this is mine. I paid a lot of money for this pen or this flower or like whatever it is, and like, so shout out to that guy. Honestly, I don't think your life's gonna get better than this. This sounds, and I don't know. This doesn't sound like a nice thing to say, but like, bro, you sent in the email and you asked the question. Sounds like all of the things that you really, really like in life. By the way, you live in Milwaukee. Giannis is staying. You know what I mean? Giannis is staying. By all accounts, who was the receiver that the Packers drafted? Matthew Golden? Was that his name? Really good. I think they got like one or two other guys in the draft that I was like, oh shit, the Packers got that guy. That's not good. But the receiver, Golden was no, I don't think that's his name, but you guys know who I'm talking about if you're a Packers fan. I don't really think Jordan Love is that good, but like he's a survivable quarterback that will win you games. So like, I don't know. Josh Jacobs was one of the 5 best running backs in the NFL last year. I don't know. Like shit's going pretty well for you. The Brewers have really good attendance this year. Who's that pitcher, that young kid, Mizrowski? Is that how you say it? He was pitching against Skeens a couple of weeks ago. Lost, I'm pretty sure. He's a phenom right now. Not better than Skubal. Nobody's better than Skubal. He's the best pitcher that's literally ever fucking lived. Better than Nolan Ryan. Better than Sandy Koufax. Better than John Smoltz. Better than Randy Johnson. Ever fucking heard of those guys? Skubal is literally better than all of them. I think this is it for you. So just like, for the rest of your life, man, just you will think about this weekend, and that's fun. I don't know. It's not that you don't have anything to look forward to. I'm just saying, in terms of like things that can happen, you know, one thing after another. Yeah, congratulations, bro, because I think you did it. copinghoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically. Email available in the description wherever it is you listen to this program. This one comes into us from Jacqueline. Now, this is a weird email because I kind of don't want to read it because it's aged like kind of poorly since she sent it in, but also like this, like substantively, it's a good email because it's about Matt Ishbia and it's about the Suns and how they're fucking losers and how they stink and they're probably always going to stink in the immediate future, like until the end of the decade. Phoenix is going to stink. This is a Mean Girls podcast. This is a hater pill podcast. Like, and Phoenix is just kind of like who I've latched onto. But the problem is that I've just done so much of it lately. I've really leaned into it lately, and especially in conjunction with like Bradley Beal being just a hilarious figure who is stubborn and just like won't fuck off. The genesis of the email was like, how do we get Devin Booker to Detroit? And it's like, well, this is why I'm saying it aged poorly, is because as of today, have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Devin Booker signed a $150 million extension with Phoenix over a 2-year period. Now, we got a couple emails about this being like, haha, Rip Bozo, you're a fucking idiot for thinking that Devin Booker was going to come to Detroit. Dog, I'm not mad at him at all. If I was getting paid $150 million over a 2-year span, $75 million a year, to just like hang out in Phoenix, and then like in the spring, go to Hotsdale, go to the Waste Management Open, what am I complaining about? In the off season, because our season's going to be over in, you know, early April every year until I retire if I'm Devin Booker, because I'm in Phoenix and we fucking are losers. That's fine, because by the time our season is over, Tigers opening day will be around, and so I'll just like fly back home and I'll just like do jersey swaps with Tarek Skubal and like give the entire team like book PE cleats. Like, yeah, bro, like that actually sounds cool with me. I'm getting paid 75 milli a year. That's awesome. He's been loyal to them. Phoenix has been loyal to Devin Booker. That's an awesome contract, right? Like, good for him. But again, the email just doesn't really work. But it kind of does, because Jacqueline sort of presented a Scooby-Doo moment here at the Coping Hour. We had a Scooby-Doo style moment here at the Coping Hour. Now, if you are somebody who consumes the show on YouTube, at any point throughout this show's history, you may have seen a commenter who just types the word Bratwurst. That's their comment every single time. Bratwurst. Nothing else, nothing more than that. It is one word every single time. Pretty much every single episode, you will, if you go to the YouTube comments, you will find the commenter who says Bratwurst. Bratwurst, by the way, not a fan. Be a fucking hot dog, not a sausage. How about that? Well, what's interesting here is in the middle of Jacqueline's whole spiel about Devin Booker coming to Detroit and Phoenix sucks and blah, 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 I caught wind of something, which was that, like, I don't know. I'll kind of show you on the screen if you can watch. Like, I don't know. Is it going to focus? Of course, it's not going to focus, so I can't really show you. It's like a medium long email. There are a good handful of paragraphs here, and there are random letters that are capitalized. Right? Now, I am familiar with, like, the Trinity Killer and, like, on some true crime shit. I know that, like, if I see a big message and random letters are capitalized, what I need to do is piece those capital letters together and figure out what the message here is, right? It's like talking in hieroglyphics, talking in code. What the problem was my immediate thought was, I don't know, we don't have that many women who email into the show. So my first thought was, this is a damsel in distress and she needs help. So I'm like frantically, I have a notes app open, typing each capital letter, trying to see like what this spells out. I don't know if it's fucking coordinates. I don't know if it's an address. I don't know what it is, right? But I'm damn near on the phone with local and federal authorities trying to save Jacqueline here, only to find out that the capital letters spelled out the word bratwurst. Motherfucker. This is the Scooby-Doo moment. We pull off the mask of this ambiguous bratwurst commenter. It was a chick the whole time. No way. That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right at all. But then I thought about it a little bit more critically, and I said, does it not make the most sense that after months of this cat and mouse game, who the hell is this bratwurst commenter? Who is this? It was actually a cryptic-ass woman the entire time who couldn't just directly tell me that it was fucking them, and they had to leave these little breadcrumbs and be like, oh, it's me the whole time. It was me the whole time. If this was a dude, I acknowledged the bratwurst commenter like a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. It was a while ago that I just gave a little hat tip. Yes, I fucking see you, okay? I see you, and it's funny, but that's it. I never got any like acknowledgement from the bratwurst commenter about that, which I thought was strange because obviously they listened to pretty much every single episode. Turns out it was Jacqueline the entire time. Jacqueline, I caught on to your little game here. I watch a lot of CIA training videos on YouTube. You think I can't crack your fucking code, capitalizing a bunch of random letters? Now, the other piece of why I wanted to veer credit in Jacqueline's direction for this. It was a masterful bit by her, honestly. It's really funny. But I wanted to just highlight this, why I was going to read the email in the first place. It wasn't just because Jacqueline's a good emailer. Every other month she'll send something in. It's usually a good email. It wasn't just that. It wasn't even just that. It was because it was like, fuck the Suns, which is funny to me. The start of this email was, howdy, Nicholas, the girl's girl of NBA YouTube Hinkle. Fuck. That is my new preferred nomenclature, is the girl's girl of of NBA YouTube. That is how I would like to be referred to as. You know, we have Wizards fan Tom, aka Hot Tom. What else do we call him? What, Wizards fan? Hot Tom, Bathroom Tom is this? Yeah, that's another one that we got from. We got MAGA Jared. Loves being called MAGA Jared. It's his favorite thing in the world. We have Lev, aka our 11-year-old correspondent. I want a fucking name. I want a name too. Why can't I have a name? It's not Motown Noah. I don't even really like that Motown Noah. I just roll with it because like that's just what it's been for years. And like whatever, it's fine. People know me by that, so it's fine. It doesn't bother me. I've just never been that crazy about it. No, I would love to be the. You can't really give yourself nicknames, but I didn't write this. Jacqueline did, the girl's girl of NBA YouTube, right? So I'm maybe fixating on this a little bit too much. Well, I just wanted to throw this out there because apparently, after all of that hoopla and not actually talking about basketball, do you mind if I give you a little something here? Just a little something? Is Bradley Beal going to get bought out? Have you guys picked up on this too? Have you started to see this? This has only started, I'm taping this on Sunday night. This has only started to circulate, at least as far as I'm aware, within the last couple of hours. It's 10:15 Central Time on Sunday night. And 2 hours ago, this is a quote, with a Bradley Beal buyout being imminent, per a source, I'm anticipating that he gives up $13.9 million of his remaining $110.8, which would then clear the way for the Suns to waive and stretch, resulting in $96.9 over 5 years, and they would duck both tax aprons. This could not play out in a funnier way. That instead of Phoenix being like, we'll be bad for 2 more years until Bradley Beal's contract is done, I believe it's 2 more years that he has. What if we were bad for 5 more years? This Matt Ishbia guy. Like, I started this segment by being like, I just can't do it. Like, I'm not going to keep doing the Ishbia sucks thing and the Suns are hilarious, whatever. But this is like breaking news to me that Beal might get bought out. And when you're like a Phoenix team who's like, oh, we have Devin Booker still in his prime and we got more years on him. Like, we just locked him up again. And so what is it? So $97 million over 5 years. Let's just do some quick math there. It's like $20 million a year that you're paying a guy to not be on your team. That's like, I'm not laughing right now. That might be the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life. That's so funny. I just don't know, like, it's happening right now. You can hear it. It breaks my brain that, like, Matt Ishbia less than a year ago was like, it's not that bad. We could get out of this. Look, Phoenix in the last, like, 2 weeks has actually done a pretty decent job at, like, salvaging a situation that is entirely unsalvageable. I think they've done some things that I'm like, oh, okay. The Jalen Green thing doesn't count because that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. It's so funny. Dylan Brooks on that team, he's plug and play. Dylan Brooks can play on any team in the NBA. Who is the kid that they got in the draft? Was it Malawach? How do you say that? Is it K or is it Ch at the end? That's a good pick. That's a good pick by Phoenix, right? But this has to be one of the worst timelines if you're a Phoenix Suns fan. So with that in mind, let's get off of hoops. We've been talking about it a little bit too long. This one comes into us from Ryan. Ryan, welcome back to the show, brother. Subject line, put me on. Hey, Nick. With it being the dead time of year, no basketball, football, baseball doesn't quite scratch the itch and is always on at inconvenient times. I'm starving for good sports content. I listen to the Coping Hour. I watch Funky, some Rusty Buckets videos, and I watch Alex Hoops. What other sports media should I be tapping into? Side question. Who's on your dream blunt rotation for basketball YouTube / podcast personalities? I was thinking of my dream rotation, and then I realized I'd accidentally get too high and destroy the vibes, so I no longer want to do that. Sending love to you and the fam. Thank you for that, brother. Dream blunt rotation for NBA content creators. It's Alex Hoops sitting in a room by himself, and I'm the blunt. I don't know. Because honestly, my answer to this is kind of like it answers your whole question of like, what else should I be watching? I don't know how to make this more clear, and at the risk of sounding a little bit abrasive, just because I am a little bit tipsy. I don't watch sports content. I don't. I listen to Bill. I listen to Ryan. Zach Lowe. Once a week, I'll listen to Zach Lowe, depending on the guest or the topics. Zach Lowe is he's brilliant. He's one of the best hires that the Ringer has had, and probably since Russillo, honestly. And that was like years ago, right? Like 7 years ago, maybe a little bit, but it's sooner than that. But it's somewhere in that window, right? Zach Lowe's been great, and I'm so happy that non-compete with ESPN finally dried up, and he was able to. We can hear Zach Lowe talk hoops again. That's it. Well, Rich Eisen too. Rich Eisen is a guy who I love him. I really think he's great. I don't know, NBA YouTubers. I support Alex Hoops, and I watch the videos that I know that I'll care about. But I don't know how to say this without sounding like it's offensive. Like, he cares, man. Like, he really cares about what he's doing. I'm not like, it's the same reason I don't watch Thinking Basketball videos. It's because, like, I don't care about, like, how this sequence happened or, like, how we got from A to B or, like, why this guy's vision is so much better than everybody else's because of this one play. That doesn't mean that I don't, like, acknowledge the work that he puts in. It's just not the content that, like, I watch, right? And so there have been plenty of times where, like, Alex will put up a video, I will open it and then like it and then, like, kind of just, like, close out of it. Does that destroy his retention? Yeah, I'm one fucking guy, like, whatever. but it's at least something that I can do to support it, right? Jacob, I don't watch his videos, I edit them. It's kind of a different thing. So like I watch them while I'm editing them because I'm doing my job, but like when it hits YouTube, it's not like that. My job's done. I don't need to like go back and watch it. That's not to say these guys don't make good videos. They do. It's not the shit that I care about. Right? I like watching Kenny videos because like King of the Fourth Quarter videos because like when they're 2K, because he's just like playing the game. That's it. He's just playing the game. And I don't know how his formula hasn't gotten stale. It's been years. It's been the years of the same damn challenges and everything. But it just works for him, you know? Jacob's talked about like a funky diabetic before, or who's the other one? Like Dom 2K. I think there's another one that I'm not thinking of, like the real big, like Cash Nasty. Fucking don't care about that guy. Flight, not a real YouTuber. That guy does not produce anything. I would just rather watch like Cumtown bits or like the Adam Friedland show or like Tucker Carlson talking to Robert O'Neill. And I hate Tucker, but like the people that he gets, I just have to know what they're talking about, right? Or like I just don't really watch sports stuff. It's not really my like I don't know how this comes across when I do this show. How often I'm only talking about things because I know that that's what people want to hear. And like I force myself to have opinions on certain things. It's not like that common that I force myself to have an opinion on things. I'm very opinionated, but like, I don't know. There are certain stories that you can definitely tell that I'm only talking about it because I feel like that's kind of the thing. That's like the flavor of the day or the flavor of the week or something. But like, I watch sports on my own independently, and I know what I think and feel about them, and I just kind of don't like really care that much about, which sounds so rude, but like I don't care that much about what other people think. And it's not about like having a self-important opinion, and like I don't think my opinion's the best. I just like don't really it's not like I'll have a conversation with somebody. That's not true. It's not true. And here's something about me, man. I think this is something I've talked about recently, actually. So at the risk of, repeating myself, like the male figures in my life that I've like needed real emotional, like, not transparency, but like emotional connection with, none of them have ever given me that, because they would rather have conversations with me about that crazy Pistons series, or like, what do you think's going to happen in the finals, or like, like things like that. And I'm like, yeah, I guess we can have, because like they think that that's like what I do, because it is, because the way that I describe the show to people who like don't know what I'm doing is I'm like, yeah, it's a sports show. I guess it is. But I think, with what I just said, the context of what I just said, like the reason that I like don't really in my leisure time like to watch people talk about sports, unless it's some of the aforementioned people that I've just respected for my entire life, and it's just kind of like I just haven't broken my routine with them. That's kind of why, like, I just would, I'm not trying to sound like Jaden Smith and be like, let's talk about like the economical and political state of the world. Like, what are you talking about, bro? No, I'm not a fucking loser, because I a lot of time don't really want to talk about that either. Despite the fact that the two things in the last 5 minutes that I've said I don't really want to talk about that much, I talk about all the time on the show. There's a soccer YouTuber I really like, actually. It's like Vizave. I have no idea what his name is, honestly, but it's like it begins with a V and it ends with an H. He's really good. I like him. I gotta tell you, I started watching this YouTuber recently. I wouldn't really call him a YouTuber. He's just a guy who's he's a crackhead who has a phone, which is like self-admitted, by the way. The first time I found out about this guy was because I was scrolling through YouTube Shorts, and I was going through my usual like, oh, here's a short about a Michelin star breakfast Filipino bakery in Chicago called Kasama that I really want to try. Wow, those eggs look really fluffy. Double tap. There's a like for you. And then I scroll, and it's like a guy just like shooting off guns. I'm like, hell yeah, and I double tap it, and I like it. Well, I scrolled again, and it was this guy who was like sitting in a car, and he looked all fucked up, and I was like, whoa, this guy's wild. And as soon as I like opened his live, because he was live, right? So I open it, And he was like, I'm a crackhead and I live out of my car. And I was like, whoa, what's this guy? He's got like 10 viewers. I was like, fuck yes. I found another one. I found another guy that nobody will ever hear, whose voice is being amplified across the internet and it's being received by nobody except for me and like 5 other people. Fuck yes. I love finding these people. And it's this guy going off. He's like looking outside of his car and he's pointing at all these buildings around him with his dirty ass yellow fingernails that are about as long as his fingers are. He's like, this building's owned by the Indians. But he said Indians. And I was like, that's racist. And then he's like, this building's owned by the Asians. He said, every building in the hood is owned by somebody that's not black. And I was like, first of all, that's actually kind of true because in Chicago, that is also very much a thing. But so he starts going off on all this shit about how, you know, he can't work and he used to be a contractor, but now nobody will hire him and blah, blah, blah. He's like, my life is fucked up. You don't want to be like me. And I'm like, you're not talking to anyone right now. He keeps talking about how he's a crackhead in a car. I've been tuning into this guy every day for like a week now, right? And it was today, this morning, as I'm taping this, that I finally decided to like mix it up in his chat, right? He doesn't like go off live. I'm not going to say what the name of the account is because I don't know. This is another one of those things. Like when I talk about obscure YouTubers that I find that nobody else will ever find, I just like doing it and I don't really want to. First of all, I'm never going to veer credit to other creators on this show because this is my fucking show and fuck everybody else. But like the second part of it is usually the people that I'm bringing up, I'm bringing them up because like they're wild in some way, and I don't want that to come across like I'm Howard Stern and I'm making fun of fucking Beetlejuice. You know what I mean? Like it's not really like that at all. But it's just like it's just interesting to me, right? And so like I'm watching this guy this morning. It's 7 a.m. I don't know how long he's been live. He's in his car. He's fucked up. He's talking about skinwalkers or some bullshit. I just comment like, "Hey brother, like I hope you're doing as good as you can be today. Like, stay safe out there." It was like some shit like that, right? And in between, like sandwiched in between me saying something nice was a guy being like, do you like, this is his exact quote, I'm not just being crass. He's like, do you like anime bitches? And then like underneath my message, the bottom bun of the sandwich was like, you look gay or something like that. He responded to both of those where he was like, nah, I don't fuck with anime bitches. And then he was like, no, you look gay or some shit like that. And I was like, how about the guy that was like, hey man, I hope you're okay. Now, I don't know if I should be getting this offended by it because it's like, well, if he is a crackhead and he's living out of his car, like maybe he's not the most rational thinking person, but like also like fuck me for trying to give you some well wishes and just be like, brother, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm just trying to put some positive shit out into the universe, hope that you get a job or something like that. If you email me this guy who sent this in, I'm not going to send you the link because I'm not going to care enough to do it. I'll see your email and I'll be like, I'm not going to do it. I don't know why I said I would do it because I'm not going to do it. This is me telling you don't do it. Well, I'll send it to you. If you want to know this about this guy, I'll send you a link to his channel. Let's see. Any other emails? There actually were a couple other emails. I got an email again from Scientology. Is this a good one to... folks, I'm sorry. It's so late. I'm sorry. It's so late. There are 2 more emails that I wanted to read. And just so these people can bump their emails. Owen, from the last episode, I asked you to bump your email. Will you do it one more time? Will you bump your email one more time so I will read it? And then Martinez sent in a really good email about his top 10 favorite things about the USA from a Canadian's perspective. It's a great email that I also wanted to read, but I'm not going to be asleep until midnight. I'm going to be awake at 6 o'clock in the morning because of my kids. So, Spotify listeners, I asked you in the last episode to list your favorite things about America, even if you weren't about American, just because it was the 4th of July. I actually am realizing right now I didn't go over any of those responses. Maybe that would be fun to do right now. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to pee my pants, and then I think I also got a little bit of, you know what I mean? So I think may have a sort of both ends situation happen. Well, not both ends. I'm not going to throw up, but the sandwich that I made for dinner, I think is there's a lot of olive oil in it. So I think it's starting to happen. And then also the amount of alcohol that I've had, I think my body is just starting to really process all of that food. It's starting to happen. So I'm really trying to get out of here right now. Spotify listeners, your question this week, that guy that we talked about, that his life isn't going to get better, it's probably it for him, right? It has to be it. That's the best weekend that he's ever going to have in his life. That's not a good question. You don't have to answer that. I'm sorry. I don't have. I'm gonna shit my pants. Like for real. It's gonna happen. So I'm sorry. I just have to go. Apple Podcast, Spotify listeners, I love you. Apple Podcast, what's up? What's up? If you're listening to this, wow. I just remembered about 6 other things that I wanted to talk about today. Such is life here at the Coping Hour. We didn't talk about anything today. Did we get anywhere today? If you're listening to this on YouTube, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, nice little comment for the algorithm. Make sure to keep primary control in check. And I will catch you guys in the next one.